Imagine this. Deep in the shadows of Rome's mightiest stadium, back in 79 AD, a young Dacian woman named Sabina, just 19, huddled in chains within a suffocating, lightless dungeon. Up above, the thunderous cheers of 50,000 bloodthirsty spectators echoed like a storm, praising the warrior who'd slaughtered her kin moments before. What transpired in the hidden depths over those next few hours? It was a ceremony so savage, so meticulously concealed, that even the Empire's chroniclers wrestled with the decision to document it at all. This tale is the one imperial lawmakers fought to bury, the prize that elevated a champion to near godlike status in secluded chambers. But hold on, before we descend into those forbidden spaces, give this a thumbs up if you've ever pondered the grim truths lurking after the spectacle faded. Join the channel, because unraveling this will shatter your view of the ancient world forever. Share your thoughts down there. Did the spectacles of Rome push too far, or was it just the harsh price of building an empire? What follows draws directly from the writings of Cassius Dio, backed by digs under the Colosseum in 2018, and echoed in papal library scrolls. No legends here. These were the spectacles Rome branded as games, the raw underbelly of the blood-soaked ring, spanning the empire during the 1st century AD. The Colosseum stood as more than stone. It symbolized Rome's unyielding grip on power. Finished barely a year prior in 80 AD, this colossal structure could engulf legions whole. The atmosphere hung heavy with the tang of iron, exertion, and beastly musk. That sandy expanse above wasn't mere ornament. It drank in the life force spilling from fallen combatants and feral creatures alike. Beneath it sprawled a labyrinth of passages and pens, safeguarding the Empire's prized possessions: the doomed, the seized, the subdued. These combats transcended mere amusement. They wove together state propaganda, sacred rites, and societal threats. When Commander Marcus Antonius quelled the Dacian revolt in 78 AD, he hauled back not just riches, but 847 souls in bondage, among them 124 women of high birth. These weren't simple folk. They hailed from leaders' lineages, spouses of fighters, guardians of faith. Rome sought not merely to vanquish their tribes, but to crush their spirits utterly, ensuring no spark of defiance reignited. And so, the triumphant met the vanquished. Gaius Valerius Maximus, at 32, towered close to 6 feet, a giant among Romans. His frame etched with the brutal tales of survival, each mark a conquest, a soul claimed, a throng enraptured. Once a bondsman, orphaned by his father's incarceration for debts, he'd endured 14 grueling years clawing for breath. 89 foes lay in his wake from sanctioned clashes. His sole aspiration: grasp the rudis, that wooden emblem of liberty. His deepest dread: perish forgotten, hauled off like refuse on cruel barbs, as countless had before. Yet on that sweltering August day in 79 AD, he bested the Dacian hero before Emperor Titus himself. His bounty adhered to custom: 500 silver coins, a crown of leaves, and priority among the female detainees. Sabina, her locks shadowed like the highlands, her complexion ghostly from Dacian lands, lingered in a pen with 17 others. Her life before Rome torched her settlement included a betrothal to a brave called Decibalus, felled by legionaries mere months ago. Now she lingered mute, her existence shattered, her tomorrow void. She craved only honor in her end. Her terror peaked at the thought of serving as fodder for the masses who'd reveled in her clan's ruin. That dawn, a sentinel revealed her selection for the day's proceedings. The full weight eluded her still. She'd soon grasped that Rome's notion of clemency eclipsed its ferocity and dread. This extended beyond personal fates. It embodied mental siege. Rome understood mere battlefield wins fell short. Absolute mastery demanded shattering emblems of resistance, tainting sacred ways, demonstrating that even the most shielded, their women, fell under Roman sway. No haphazard savagery here. It was deliberate erosion of dignity, a proclamation echoing through subjugated realms. Oppose Rome? Futile. Fall to Rome? Total obliteration. The events of that day swelled into infamy, compelling the elite to intervene soon after. Precisely at 3 in the afternoon, as Dust's fingers stretched across the crimson field, the overseer of spectacles plunged into the hypogeum, the subterranean realm below the Colosseum. The passageways stank of moist rock and raw fear. He neared Gaius Valerius Maximus, bearing a metal plaque etched with offerings. Gaius's limbs trembled yet from the fray, his veins alive with battle's fire. "The ruler salutes your triumph," intoned the functionary, per age-old decree, claim the fruits of subjugation. Select. None present foresaw how this habitual pick, echoed endlessly prior, would ignite a turmoil ascending to the halls of governance in mere weeks. The slate detailed the prizes: precious metals, libations, a true mattress for repose, or Victoria Carnalis, the fleshly entitlement bestowed upon the prevailing. For one who possessed naught and teetered on death's edge, this marked a rare surge of control. Roman culture didn't merely tolerate it, they exalted it. To the victors, the subdued were mere chattel for gratification. Such was the imperial ethos, honed across eras. The rituals commenced. Within the women's enclosure, a parallel orchestration stirred. Sentries arrived with vessels of liquid, not for thirst, but purification of the bound. The captives were cleansed, tresses straightened, tattered garb exchanged for basic robes. Sabina observed the aides tending each in turn, scrutinizing and noting on soft slabs. An elder, Zamoxis, a devotee of the Dacian solar shrine, murmured the dread suspicion, "They're priming us for the display or the aftermath." The grooming wrapped swiftly, yet elsewhere in the vast edifice a grimacine assembled, one elevating standard violation into a controversy scholars would dissect for ages. Overhead, the multitude crammed the tiers for the midday diversions. Amid prime duels, coordinators orchestrated pauses, feigned pursuits, choreographed skirmishes, and what scribes delicately termed mythic portrayals, often compelling the sentence to embody tales, culminating in authentic demise. Today's feature bore a fresh edge, a dramatic ode to Rome's supremacy over savage disgrace, dubbed the Summons of the Sands. 20 Dacian females ascended via the concealed hoist network, machinery crafted to propel creatures, warriors, and scenery bursting forth from hidden portals. Sabina emerged into blistering rays and a cacophony that struck like a fist. The din assaulted her senses. Aromas wafted, sizzling snacks from hawkers, opulent scents from affluent zones, undercut by the metallic bite of congealed gore warming underfoot. What ought to have been mere dispatch morphed into engineered debasement. The group arrayed as a proclaimer listed fabricated offences: insurgency, abetting foes, spurning divine patrons. Then the deviation. They duel in duos with timber blades, clad in rags parodying their heritage. Victors? Seized by Rome's idols. Losers? Oblivion. If such orchestrated malice stuns you, press that approval icon, for the sequel unveils this as doctrine, not disorder. The flashpoint, those mock weapons distributed. Sabina clutched hers, the coarse grain biting her skin. Opposite loomed Camacicus, sibling to Decibilus, the one who'd schooled her in crafts and voiced melodies at her union rite. Their gazes fused. The masses bayed for carnage. The director signalled commencement. Neither stirred. The uproar morphed, thrilled to bewilderment, then fury. "Engage!" the horde bellowed. Weaklings, savages, debris cascaded, fruit stones, meal leavings, whatever lay handy. Yet the pair held firm, blades idle. It was their final stand. Denial. For a full minute and a half, the mightiest realm faced open scorn from two defenceless souls, poised motionless. Guards charged forth. the contrived theatre crumbled into genuine brutality. Camacicus fell by a blunt strike from rearward, crumpling to the grit. The assembly exhorted. Sabina cried out, surging near, her prop discarded. Both hauled off, not to slaughter, but a fate the onlookers deemed equally diverting. The genuine nightmare unfolded. Down in the underbelly, the administrative gears of Roman subjugation churned, unyielding. A recorder inscribed 20 females, Darcy unstock, designated for triumph dispersal. Follow-up, 2 defiant rerouted to secluded quarters for elite warrior prerogative. What ensued crystallized as Rome's most refined mechanism of stripping essence. Individuals demoted to stock. Sabina and Camacicus parted, each to isolated cells. Compact rock niches with ledges, metal loops fused in masonry, entrances securing solely externally, spotless, methodical, and horrifying in their premeditation. No spur-of-moment torment, these spaces formed integral to the venue's blueprint, as deliberate as beast enclosures or combatant risers. By 4, Gaius Valerius Maximus crossed into Sabina's confine. The portal swung, their stairs collided. He remained armoured from the pit, another's essence smeared on his torso. She pressed to the distant barrier, spent, weaponless. Dividing them, the entirety of Roman decree. He wielded utter dominion. She, zilch, deemed plunder merited via slaughter. Records omit Gaius's inner storm. Did he perceive a soul, mere asset? Challenge the apparatus rendering him blade and bondsman alike. We hold only a bureaucrat's bland entry, void of their voices. Then defiance erupted, an uprising unforeseen. Gaius doffed his casque, laid his edge aside, slumped with face buried in palms. 5 eternal minutes, silence reigned. Sabina stayed rigid, steeling for assault that evaded. At last, he uttered in fractured Dacian gleaned from fellow detainees. Whose name? He queried. Mine, she echoed. Nay, the one slain before you, Decibilis. Nay, today's, she denied. He exhaled deeply. I dispatched a Decibilis this day. Kin, perhaps. Your folk favour that moniker. What transpired defied Rome's script. No violation. Instead, dialogue between souls the realm strove to dehumanize utterly. Gaius recounted his sire's doom when he was but 9. Sabina shared her Hamlet's blaze. 2 hours slipped by. Watchers peered in twice, noted murmurs, presumed obedience, departed. At 6, Gaius Valerius Maximus chose the path Rome deemed unforgivable. He rose, approached the exit, summoned the warden. This captive ails, he proclaimed, contagious. I decline the grant. Remand to healer. The sole escape clause in the Colosseum code. If tainted, a fighter could lawfully spurn and revert her to common detainee. The fabrication glared. The sentinel spotted it forthwith. Yet Roman red tape thrived on stricture. Contesting meant forms, testimonies, probes. Yielding. Instant. Thus Sabina withdrew, shuttled to curative ward, her destiny deferred. She perished regardless, days hence, from mundane sepsis, the prime slayer in Roman confines. The infirmary overflowed, squalid, indifferent. The reprieve from one abyss thrust her into another. Gaius glimpsed her no more. He clashed twice further that cycle. Triumphs both. Rewards forsaken each. The dominion stiffened. Murmurs rippled through fighter quarters. Maximus weakened. Maximus embraced exotic mercy sects. Maximus hexed by Dacian sorcery. Reality proved plainer. He'd reclaimed his core. Rome's tipping edge. On September 15th, 79 AD, legislator Quintus Aurelius Symmachus addressed the assembly with a formal grievance. His kin's offspring, a novice combatant, endured lashes from his mentor for shunning the traditional boon post victory. The youth cited Maximus's lead. The instructor defended instilling core Roman ethos, a minor affair, scarcely meriting airtime, save for this. It compelled the elite to voice aloud a custom all acknowledged, yet none articulated. Preserved ledgers, expurgated editions, note discourse on the propriety of select traditions concerning subdued womenfolk. That tepid wording veiled a 4-hour factional clash over whether Rome had breached a threshold its own stewards couldn't abide. The orthodox cadre, spearheaded by Senator Fabius, summoned heritage, forebears subdued wholly, form and essence. This moulded our supremacy. The progressive wing, stoic tinged, pragmatic retorted, we're breeding icons of sacrifice. We're planting seeds of insurrection. Corpses vanish. Scarred remnants nurture vendettas across lineages. Yet the genuine catalyst wasn't virtue, it was regime endurance. Triple frontier overseers flagged surges in unrest, each invoking Rome's handling of seized women as fuel for defiance drives. These wardens cautioned, no longer cowing adversaries, inciting them. The realm self-inflicted wounds, the edict that stunned the empire. October 1st, 79 AD, the council ratified what chroniclers dubbed Lex Captivius, the statute on bound women. Its scope narrow yet groundbreaking. War-taken females barred from arena allotments as communal trophies. Overt shaming of vanquished women forbidden in state pageants. Covert misuse persisted, but the overt theatre of it criminalised. Adherents spotty. Numerous venue chiefs bypassed or loopholed, but the tenet endured. Even Rome imposed visible bounds. Paradoxically, the measure liberated none, it merely veiled the gaze. Quarter year on, Gaius Valerius Maximus attained release, not for benevolence but 5 unbroken wins. His inaugural free deed, redeeming a Dacian named Comassicus. Files list solely her title. Scholars posit heavily she flanked Sabina on the sands. Picture Gaius grasping his lone revolt preserved one soul briefly, naught else. It altered zilch for multitudes past or forthcoming. The apparatus loomed vast, lucrative, ingrained in Roman fabric. His uprising? A droplet in a crimson sea. Envision Sabina's waning breaths, succumbing to avoidable plague amid crammed inmates below the era's grandest edifice. Did no lawmaker ponder her exit? No scribe etched her moniker. In Rome's ethical ledger, her agony merited no note. The sorrow isn't Rome's mere ruthlessness. Ferocity marked antique strife. The profound grief, Rome mechanized it, commodified as diversion, formalized with ledgers, logistics, blueprints. A network so thorough, souls vanished traceless save wall gouges. In 2018, diggers from Rome's Academy, guided by Dr. Isabella Fortunato, unearthed an overlooked hypogeum wing. Discovery shunned from visitor pamphlets. Tight alcoves with forged shackles, run-off grooves in bedrock, frantic etches from captive digits, shard pots for sustenance or hydration, matted remnants of pallets. Age testing affirmed 80 AD origins, deliberate from inception, not appended. Half-dozen copper labels surfaced, branded Captiva, with spans 79 to 82 AD, aligning Dacian quelling epochs. These corroborated scripts. Cassius Dio's texts outlined dispersal nooks for seized women. Seneca's missives hinted obliquely, sans specifics. Tacitus, typically vivid, omitted glaringly, suggesting revulsion too deep for plain words. Experts quarrel on prevalence. Some claim sporadic for grand parades. Others cite tailored builds, plentiful proofs, diverse origins, positing habitual. Verity middles, not perpetual yet frequent for dedicated setups. Romans idolized gladiators as archaic stars, with shadows. Aristocratic ladies grease palms for encounters. Artifacts depict bare warriors armed, their essence peddled as elixirs, some imbibed for conception aid. The culture that venerated these souls also funneled them to lethal engines, granting them dominion over the utterly vulnerable. Annals recount evening revels post-grand events elites consorting with battlers and thralls, war prizes flaunted as spoils, at times compelled to mimic deities like Jupiter or Mars ere gifting. Detainees bared in victory marches, sufferers bound to posts echoing law pre-demise. Rival sovereigns displayed ere general bestowals, naught haphazard. A global dispatch. Rome commands your yesterdays, todays, tomorrows. Gladiator rites formed munera, dues to populace. Sponsors vied for extravagance. Captive debasement sold seats. 19th century sage Theodore Mommsen termed it Rome's premier dignity-stripping engine. He implied Rome subdued not flesh alone, but selfhood, recollection, purpose. That debate's rage today underscores wound depths. The 2000 epic Gladiator merely shadowed this, hints in gloom. Contemporary thinkers wrangle if unveiling Roman ferocity educates or sensationalizes, yet it counts, illustrating how societies cloak atrocity via statutes, norms, amusements. Rome wasn't singular in horrors, but mastered their normalization, morphing force to ceremony, cries to acclaim. The core revelation, the divide twixt culture and savagery gauges not by grand vaults, routes, spans, but treatment of the powerless. Rome crafted enduring waterways, yet fashioned vaults under Colosseums, where lives shattered casually as stage elements. Its genius and void cohabited seamlessly. It exposes power's warp on all. Gaius? Prey and pawn, chained, manipulated, compelled to slay for existence, yet empowered over the more destitute. The order contorted everyday folk to torment tools, flipping anguish to applause over compassion. It cautions against heritage as virtue shield. Forebears enacted sufficed every moral query, till custom ousted kindness, outrage turned norm. It poses quandaries we grapple still. What concealed terrors lurk under lauded relics? How many sights overlay silenced agony? When must history confront versus exploit? Contemplate Sabina's close, fading from contagion in tight confines below her age's pinnacle. Did she ponder remembrance? Foresee millennia hence, excavators unearthing her marker, voicing her anew? History's bleakest yarns warn, advance unguaranteed. Societies crumble ethically ere materially. Each era elects mercy or mechanism. Rome picked pageantry. Toll obliterated existences, yet wisdom lingers in subterranean remnants. Thus a fighter's conquest licensed barbarity. A standard boon evolved to Rome's most shrouded disgrace. Scores of Dacian detainees faded into clerical roles. One youth, Sabina, endured solely via a lone battler's odd mercy. A spark-altering zilch, save a firming spark amid Rome's gloomiest gears. If this narrative rattles you, subscribe. Unsettling facts eclipse soothing fables. Drop in comments what jars deepest, the engineered violation, or Rome's knack at routinizing it. Recall, history's shadows often nestle under culture's peaks. The arena stains weren't solely combat-born. At times from purity made show, authority unchecked, the instant empathy averted, while savagery earned ovations.